Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday's Word. My name is Jody. I'm so excited you're here today, and I got a great word for you. So the Lord has been putting the letter R on my heart a lot during this time. And guys, I want to tell you, I really believe with everything inside of me that we're coming out on the other side of this thing. I feel like the worst is behind us and we're getting excited because the best is yet to come. So this is what God has put on my heart. It's the letter R, and it's different things that you can do during this last little part of this quarantine, during this time of being locked in with your family, during this time of the unknown. This is something that I believe is going to help you if you do these letter R things. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that came to my heart was to reflect. A lot of times we get so busy in life that we go, and we don't ever reflect back on where we've been, what we've done, where we're at. We don't reflect. So God was speaking to my heart that was like, reflect. I want you to reflect back on where you are, to remember what I've done for you in the past. When the enemy gets in our head and he starts this chatterbox of, well, what if you did this, and what if that, and what if, and what if, and what if, and that chatterbox in your head goes absolutely crazy, and you're just like, but God is like, remember when. Remember when you got out of that sickness. Remember when I worked out that relationship. Remember when I gave you that job opportunity. Remember when I turned your finances around. That is so good, guys. That is something for you to get excited about. So when the devil says, what if, you can reply with, remember when. Remember when God stepped up in all these times in your life. Reset. This is a time to reset. Maybe you've been praying to God for new opportunities. Maybe you've been praying for, I feel stuck in where I'm at and I really want to go somewhere else. This is your opportunity to reset, to reflect and reset, and think of where it is that you want to be when you come out of this thing. What do you want to do? Do you have a plan? Like when you come out, boy, I'm coming running. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Are you doing that? Or are you like, I'm just watching Netflix. I'm just waiting for this thing to get past. And when I come out of it, I'm going to be in the same spot I was in when I went into it. Because I believe God has given us this time to reset and get excited about a whole new plan, a whole new way. But he can't do that if you're just sitting in the same spot. He wants you to get excited, to move, and more importantly, to get closer to him. This is a big one. Rest. How many of you prayed and prayed and prayed, God, give me rest. Oh, please give me rest. I just need rest. I'm so tired. I'm so overworked. I'm so exhausted. And God gives you this time of rest, and none of you have rested. Because now the enemy's in your head, and so you're not resting. Instead, what you're doing is you're sitting there and you're like, oh, how am I going to work all these things out? How am I going to make this work? And how am I going to make that work? And you're laying awake at night and you're not resting. And God said, but you prayed for rest. So this is a time for you guys to rest. I heard this quote. I don't know who it's by. I apologize for that. But when I heard it, it was so good. And it was like, wow. And it says, when we work, God rests. But when we rest, God works. So if you really think about that and the power that is in that, it is like whenever you're working, and God's resting, he's like, okay, do your thing. But then when we're supposed to be resting at night, when we're supposed to turn all that off, then God's like, I'll go to work. I'll go to work for you. But do you know what happens when you don't ever rest? God never can work. Woo, that's good. You guys pick up on that. That's so good. Whenever you don't rest, God can't work. That is huge, guys. That is so huge to know. The next R is rejoice. Every day you wake up with breath in your life, rejoice. There is so much for you to be thankful for. There's so much that God has given us, but the enemy wants to cloud us with all of these things that we don't know in the unknown, that we forget the blessings around us. We're so upset about being stuck in a house with our families, maybe, when God is like, you still have your family. Other people have lost their families during this crisis. Oh yeah, I'm about to preach. You're so, my kids are driving me crazy. But some people just wish they could have kids. So when the enemy comes at you with all of these things that are upsetting you or angering you, rejoice. Rejoice. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Don't let the enemy steal your joy during this time. Look at your kids. Look at your spouse. Find fun little ways to do things. My husband couldn't get me an Easter card because you weren't allowed to touch the cards because so many people pick them up and put them back. And so he wasn't able to do that. So guys, he made me an Easter card. This card is so much more valuable to my heart than one of those just average cards that you could buy at a store, because it came from his heart. So what are you guys doing during this time that you can reflect memories, that you can build memories and make memories? What are you doing right now during this time? Are you so stuck in a negative spot that you're not enjoying the beauty of life around you? Also, and I love this last one, Romans 12:12 says, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulations, continuing steadfast in prayer. Rejoicing in hope. Rejoicing, guys, in hope and knowing that God is working all things out for you, that God is taking care of you, that God is with you during this time. You are not alone. No matter how much you feel alone, you're not alone. And so rejoicing in hope. Hope gets us through so much, because when the enemy says it's hopeless, God says, no, there's hope. Patient in tribulation. We go through trials. I'm not saying we don't. I have been through many myself. But what I am saying is that on the other side of trials is triumph. On the other side of tests is testimonies. On the other side of a mess is a message. And that's what I want God to show you today through this. And then continuing steadfastly in prayer. Continue to pray, guys. He hears you. Even if you think he don't, he does. He hears you. Your prayers are not just bouncing off the ceiling. They're getting to him. But you have to wait sometimes for those prayers to come through. Miracles happen to those who believe that they're going to. Nothing is impossible for those who believe in God and what he can do for you. So the last R that I want to talk about is rise. Woo! You guys are going to rise. I know right now you feel very stuck. I know you feel very depleted, maybe even. But how exciting is it to know that when you come on the other side of this, you're going to rise? That God's going to take you to new levels that you never even imagined that could happen. So I want you guys to know that when the enemy comes in with all the what ifs, remember, and when he tells you you're not going to go any further, know you're going to rise. Know that God has a plan for you to rise. That's what he says he has. I always say this in pretty much every one of my videos is he has plan and a hope and a future for you. If it is any of those things, it's of God. If it's defeat, anger, negativity, end of the road, hopeless, that's not God. That's not how God works. He is love. And he wants you to know he loves every single one of you. And he wants you to know you're going to rise. You're going to rise up out of this situation. You're going to rise up beyond what your expectations are. You are going to rise. But guys, in order to do that, you have to let go of control. You have to let go of trying to figure it all out yourself. I always talk about faith over fear, because fear is when we try to do it all ourselves. Fear is whenever we get in our head and we're like, I can't figure this thing out. I don't know. I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't figure out how. That is when you're trying to do it all in your control. And God is saying to you, I don't want you to do it in all your control. Like the beginning of this video says, I want you to rest. At night, I want you to rest. Rest in knowing I have it taken care of. Rest in knowing that I am God. Look outside. Do you hear the birds? He said he would take care of the birds. How much greater are you to God than birds? That is one thing I notice so much right now when I go outside is I hear the birds, and they seem to be louder and louder and louder, because when we go through trials, we need that reminder. That's another one, the reminder of what, God did for us, and that reminder that he's there for us, and that reminder that he's not going anywhere, that he loves us, and that he's going to be beside us through this thing. And he's going to be the one on the other side of this thing that's going to get all the glory, all the praise. And I'm just thankful. I'm so thankful that he uses me to give this message to you. Because guys, I know what it's like to be in a dark place. I know what it's like to feel like things are hopeless. I know what it's like to feel like you're defeated. And I know what it's like to know that God is in control and I don't have to worry about it. So I pray that this blessed your heart. If it did, please share it. I know right now I've even seen And it breaks my heart. People that have committed suicide during this time. And what that is the enemy in their head telling them it's the end. But let me tell you, God is saying it's the beginning. God is saying, I got good things in store for you. Close your eyes, visualize, see it in your heart. Know that you're going to come out of this thing and you're going to rise. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I love you all. I'll see you next week. Have a very blessed week, and just reflect and go back and just look at these R's and really let it sink into your spirit what God's saying. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.